Hello guys, welcome back to PodFox Plays .hack GU. This will be part 6. I will have to apologize. Last time I ran into some technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. And the video cut off rather abruptly. I have hopefully fixed all the problems and we shall continue. I was in the middle of reading the forum post before I jumped into the actual gameplay with Hoseo. Uh, I was reading about 4 of them until I realized that, I'm no longer recording. So, I will read the last bit of this, but then we will get a good, hearty video up. We started with, or we left off with, the Dark Guy PK'd me by June Pride. While we were all walking along in an area, we were PK'd by a guy dressed in all black. At first we thought it was just someone being annoying and changed our area, but then he followed us to the new location. I guess it was one of those new stalker PKers. At any rate, he kept following us everywhere. When I asked him why he PK'd, he wouldn't even answer me. Man, that guy was creepy. We tried to fight back once, but we were no match for him, and our whole group was wiped out. It was heartbreaking. Sigh. Beatrice says that must have been rough for you. I've been PK'd before too, so I know what it's like. It really sucks. I won't say all PKing is bad, but pointless stalker PKing shouldn't be allowed. It's against the law to stalk people in real life, so why should it be any different online? I'm hoping that the law changes to prevent such cases. Please don't let it get you down, June Pride. Don't let the PKers win by giving up the world. Stella says, the hell's up with that? The guy just followed you all around without saying a word? What a jerk. I wonder what's going on with the world lately, with all these bugs and stalker PKers. It's getting to be too much. And for that matter, don't go crying just because you got hurt. What kind of guy was it? If you want, I'll track him down myself and set him straight. June Prime says, Beatrice, Stella, thank you both. I'll do my best. You're right, I won't back down from a stalker. What kind of guy was it? I think he was a partisan with the same design as me. His entire body was giving off a black effect of some sort, so I think he must have had some kind of rare item or ability. His name was... I'm sorry, I forgot. If you want to track him up for some shit, don't be ridiculous. He was really strong. Renji says, wow, that must have been rough. By any chance, was that PK named Doppelganger? Oh, you're right, that was it. But how did you know? Is he a famous PK or something? Well, I mean, it's a monster. What do you mean? Well, there's a monster like that out there. It's a monster that takes on the exact appearance of a player and normally doesn't do much except wander around. But when it spots a player, it'll attack without notice. Oh, this is Applestar. This is my homie. I like Applestar. It's said to have a much higher level than the player it's attacking, so theoretically no one can beat them even though there's an HP cap. The reason you felt like it was following you ever is because they're in every field, but for some reason they never show up in dungeons. I wonder why. If you ever see one, well, the best thing to do is to run away without being spotted, which I didn't notice it the 2 times I went. Well, I only went into one field and then one dungeon. So, I bet you me reading this post unlocked the Doppelganger, which, me being like level 5, I probably shouldn't have done that, but whatever, let's go. I'll fight it. No way, so it wasn't a PKer, it was a monster, huh? I'm so embarrassed. I'm sorry for the misunderstanding, June cried. Renji says, nah, there's no need for that. Everyone has things they don't know. Oh yeah, if you ever end up fighting a doppelganger again, just use a smoke screen to run away immediately. That way you should be able to avoid having your whole party wiped out. Good luck with your adventures. Alright. Playing in a Group by Black Cat and Heart. So I read this one and he asks for help leading a party, then they give him answers, and then he asks for clarifications of the answers. So I'm going to read the clarifications. Essentially is I was the leader for a group, but it was my first time. So I didn't quite know what to do, and I'm afraid I made things unpleasant for the other party members. Actually, they told me to my face how much I sucked, which, incredibly toxic. I'm not even sure if you should... I'd be like, hey, yo! I'm gone. Sorry. A little bit too loud. Okay, so... there's that one. Okay. So, Mitan offered double checking on items and setting the areas is the leader's job. I left it for someone else to do it the last time that I became leader. The next chance I get, I'll be able to handle those things effectively. Thank you for the help. Essentially, how Silas and, even though we got stomped by him, Eoten and Asta said there are area words that we go into to go into like a field or a dungeon, and each word carries like a meaning. One of them sets your level, one of them sets the type of area you're going in, whether it's a dungeon, whether it's a field, and the other one like is monsters and all that, such are items and stuff like that. So checking your key area words and just making sure you have your item. And Hardy was asked to clarify. So, giving clear orders that fit the battle. There are times during battles when your prearranged plans have no effect. When this happens, the leader is expected to have the ability to form a new strategy that meets the needs of the battle on the spot. To be more specific, not much damage is being dealt to an enemy. We'll have everyone attack all at once, or conserve SP and make it into an endurance fight. Recovery can't keep up with the damage received. Have more people help with healing, or use a smoke screen and retreat. Make sure to pull off Rengekis given the chance. To ensure you can use Rengekis when necessary, don't go crazy on your skill trigger. If you use the skill trigger too much, there will be times when you have a chance for a chain attack that you can't use a skill trigger, so you miss your chance. That's happened to me once. To prevent this, you'll need to limit the time to use the skill trigger. For example, in my case, I only use the skill trigger during the following: as soon as the battle starts, when the enemy targets a party member with little HP, when an enemy tries to use a skill, which is good, that's attack canceling, that's nice. Have a good grasp of when to use Awakening. This is basically the same as the skill trigger. Awakening is a powerful method of attacking, but if it's too early, you just wasted it and didn't have that big of an effect. For example, when fighting a big, strong, boss level enemy, use when your companions are in trouble, or use it to defeat an enemy wielding status ailments such as sleep, etc. Did that help? Yes, that did. Next time I become leader, I will do whatever I can so my party members will approve of me. Soloing by Tricycle Cop. Hi there, everyone. My name is Tricycle Cop. It is not Officer Tricycle. Don't get them mixed up. Passive aggressive smiley face. Here's my question. I would like to try this soloing thing. Basically, I want to be a so-called hardcore player. Any tips that will help me to do this will be appreciated. Thank you very much. Hardy says, personally, I don't care much for the idea of solo play in an online game. True. But oh well, here's some basics for solo play. 1. Conserve items. Even if you're a cleric. Alright, there's hardcore and there's soloing dungeons as a cleric, especially when your level is similar to the level of area you're going in. That's or even a little higher. That's some cojones right there. 100%. It is essential to conserve items that will restore your HP and SP. It's also not a bad idea to bring along attack items that will be useful for the area you plan on visiting. I do agree, that would be very helpful. Let's see. Make sure you have an escape plan. Always have some smoke screens and return feathers on you. I'll make sure I'll buy those. Know the shortest path back to the platform from where you are in case you run out of items. Research the area you plan on visiting. Check if there are any enemies that have status ailment causing skills in the area you're going to. When playing solo, contracting a status ailment is a quick path to disaster, so it might be better to avoid areas with enemies like that. It's not much, but hopefully this will help for now. Officer Tricycle says, Sir Hardy, I truly appreciate your guidance. I have a question about your third point. How, precisely, should one go about investigating what kind of monsters await in an area? Killer Whale says, why not try making an area, transporting there, then immediately transporting back to town? Tricycle Cop, what exactly do you mean? Goodness gracious. Killer Whale, make an area, transporting there. Confirm the enemies that reside there at a distance where they won't spot you, as well as how the map is configured, as well as its size. After checking on them, go back to town. Repeat this to look for an area that's appropriate for you, but be careful. When you're close enough to an enemy to see their name, it also means you're close enough for them to spot you. Winter says, I'll write down the points you need to help keep in mind when fighting solo battles. I hope they'll help you. Use guard and charge attacks. Knockbacks. Well, when you think an enemy is about to attack, guard before attacking. If you become surrounded, run away to a safer spot. Knock back enemies that follow with a charge attack and try to fight them one-on-one. Skill trigger usage. When soloing, it's better to focus on stopping enemy skills rather than try to pull off Rengekis. Save your skill trigger attacks for when you really need them. Don't be stingy with items. Using fewer items will just lead to more deaths. Don't be afraid to use them a lot, that's all I can think of. Sir Killer Whale, Sir Renji, thank you so both for your guidance. I have one last question. I am currently a level 10 Punisher. Could you tell me the best area for one such as myself to level up? Thank you so much. Rangy's give me boom, truth marbles bum. Bum. Up front blazing Camellia, and I got those words when I backed out when I figured out I wasn't recording anymore. Apple Star! With that level, you should have a good selection with the following words: Sacred, Warren, Croaking. Second part, Crones, Black. Third part, Purebred, Ocean, Blue Cloud, Cassiopeia. Okay. I am truly indebted. Alright, awesome. Monsters Field of Visions by Sagittarius. I have a question about monster visibility. Whenever I try to ambush a monster, I always end up getting spotted, and because I'm an adept rogue, I rarely get invited to parties. That's messed up. I remember I posed a question earlier. Oh, excuse me. If adept rogues would be just as good as their main weapon counterparts, or would they be weaker? Like, if an edge punisher versus an adept rogue edge punisher were the same level, who would be stronger? And by how this is going, I guess it's literally like the edge punisher stronger than an adept rogue punisher. It'll only get worse if they find out I can't even ambush a monster. And I'm not even that good at action games or real time stuff in the first place, so I'm really in a fix. Can someone please tell me how to ambush right? Any help would do, thank you. Metan says for most monsters, their blind spot is behind their backs. If you just approach them from behind, it won't matter if you're walking or running, they won't spot you. Well, even when I approach monsters from behind, there are still times when I get above their heads and their exclamation mark. I really don't get it. And before then, I know it, I'm in a battle. Am I the only one with this problem? Apple Star! Yep, I know what you're talking about. I think it happens because the monsters have turned around or something and spotted you. So don't worry about it. Everyone makes mistakes, especially when they're just starting out. Watch the enemy from Renji. Apple Star slipped up the theory quite well, but if you're not naturally good at action or games, it can be really hard to know what to do. So at those times, it's best to learn firsthand. Make an area where there's no way you can die, like level 1 or something, and start monster watching. While you're watching the monsters, you should notice that their behavior follows certain rules and patterns. Things like they walk for a bit, stop, look in different directions, etc. Once you got their movements down, it's time to start practicing on your approach. Run up to them quickly when they're facing away from you. If you keep practicing this, it'll become like second nature to be like a cheetah in no time. Cartels. Another reason why that happens is maybe you didn't know that the field of vision differs with each monster. That also might be part of your problem. Apple Star, you help me see the light. Whenever the exclamation mark shows up, I always panic and lose track of what's happening. It's a relief to finally understand what happened. Rolling on the floor laughing. Man, this game is so old. Renji, oh yeah, you're right. That's a great way to keep me from panicking when I'm learning. Thanks for your support. Bartels, each monster has a different field of vision. Man, I didn't know that. Bartels, well then let me explain. Every monster has a different range of vision depending on how they look. You can broadly divide the monsters into groups of regulars, birds, beasts, and large things. Here's a summary of the different views. Regular has a narrow and short view. Ugh. Birds have a wide and far view. My apologies. What happened to my recording device? I'm gonna have to end the episode soon just to be on the safe side. That scared me. Large monsters have a wide/far view. Radius refers to the fan-shaped area in front of the monsters that represent their field of view, and range refers to how far that area extends forward. The wider the radius and farther the range means that you have to be that more careful when sneaking up to them. Since this has got kind of long, I'll go into more details on the different types of separate posts. Ooh, I kind of got it though. Like, I've played these before. Like Bartos described, the very first option, so narrow, is the fan, so that means they can't see too much on their sides, and their view is short, so they can't see too far in front of them. Birds can see very, like, far, like left to right, front. You have to sneak up behind the birds, and they also see very far, so you need to get behind them from, I would honestly assume maybe even half a screen away. Beast, very narrow but very far, so you get what I'm saying. Can't go into an area by Leon. As the topic says, I can't go to the areas I want to. I've tried going to areas lots of times, but I keep getting the same pitifully weak enemies. I'm a level 3 Blade Brandier. Please help. Thanks. Apple Star. Not a clue. Damn, but I have no idea what he was talking about. Would you mind telling me? You open the chaos parameters, right? But they're only really important ones. And treasure level. Just remember these two and you'll be set. You shouldn't have any problems. There are a lot of more stuff fine without them, so don't explain these things. Area that determines the level of the monsters in the area. monsters have levels just like players because their levels are set up in the same way as ours. If the area level is higher than your player level, that means that monsters will be stronger than you. The same goes for the other way around. When setting up the area you want to go to, try setting the area level like this. When playing solo, set it to 3 to 4 levels beneath your own. When playing in a group, set it to the same party's level, average, or 1 to 3 levels higher. Next is treasure level represents the item boxes, just wooden boxes, whatever you want to call them. The bigger the parameter, the better the items are in the item boxes. Basically, if you want to get good items, you use words like parameter. And last but not least, when you want to get items as easily as possible, hang around with the third part of the area world. Depending on how you go about it, you might get an area with weak monsters but has great items. Of course, you can't go wrong with setting both the area and the treasure level high so you can get a ton of items and XP. You just get any area you want. Thank you. For beginners, it might be that you want. Focus on the treasure level. You think the settings are too just like put around this machine. Try it on and see what you think. Okay. I'm just going my mouse playing up. Going into the world again. Yeah. He probably didn't press the button to display. Okay, yeah. I that happened to me when I figured that one out. But cut off on me. So I'm going to episode. If you want me to get into the real meat and potatoes, I will start that the next episode after I kind of take a gander at what's going on here.